UNSC Infinity.
UNSC Infinity. Class, Supercarrier. Crew size, 7,150. Not found.
Near field perimeter scan.
1,986. UNSC tags detected.
Status.
Deceased.
The Master Chief lives? Atriox assured us of his death. Are you not angered? No. I feel invigorated. You promised us revenge, superiority, renewal. He threatens everything. Do you question my leadership? Atriox's vision. Atriox is dead. It is his fault that we are stuck here. The banished will never bow to anyone again. Not the Covenant. Not the Prophets. Not her. This ring will be operational. Please. There. You will have your revenge. Blade Master. Follow the Spartan from a distance. I want to know everything about him.
Accept.
Encrypted message found.
Read.
Attempting decryption. Decryption failed.
Locate message source.
Triangulation in progress. Triangulation in progress.
We're done, right, Chief? If we stay out here any longer, they're gonna come back. They'll find us, and they'll kill us. What is it you're searching for?
Match found. Signal located. Waypoint uploaded.
There's nothing there. You're looking in the wrong direction. We need to go home.
Plot the waypoint.
Requesting manual flight control override.
Do it.
Autopilot engaged.
Wait, what? Are you kidding me? Why would we go down there?
The Banished plan to wipe us out. All of us.
Then what? You think we can stop them on our own? I told you. We lost. We need help, not heroics.
No. We do our duty. Protect humanity, whatever the cost.
I can't be the only...
Entering atmosphere. Autopilot disengaging in 5.
We have a new mission, soldier.
4.
What is it? What's down there?
3.
A weapon.
2.
A weapon?
1.
How many guns do you need? What is wrong with you? Remind me to never pick up a Spartan. This is a terrible idea. They're coming for us. All of them.
Hello everybody and welcome to the second mission of my Halo Infinite Legendary Walkthrough Guide. This is the second mission, Foundations. We're going to get started by picking up the pulse carbine that we got off of that elite that we killed, and then you're going to use your grapple to cross the chasm. Now you don't have to kill any of the enemies here initially. I take down one of them, that way it's just a little safer, but you don't have to. But what really you're going to have to take out are these 6 grunts here on the bottom platform. But remember that you're wanting to try to keep moving because there is that phantom still trying to shoot at you behind you. So make sure that you try to take out as many enemies as you possibly can. Once it's safe, grapple up to the top platform and then just keep moving. Ignore the phantom behind you dropping off a brute captain that is going to have a Ravager. Now once you get into this little expanse, you're going to use your grapple to slide across this platform. There's going to be 2 grunts as well as a jackal that you're going to take out. Then you're going to go into the hallway. There is another jackal. You're going to want to try to take out this jackal because you want to pick up that hard light coil to take out the jackal and 2 grunts that are on the platform. Now, once you take out all those enemies, you're going to cross the chasm with your grapple. And then you're going to pick up a mangler, swap to your plasma grenades if they're not already swapped to. And then you're going to try to stick one of the brutes. And then you're going to pick up the hard light coil, toss the hard light coil at these brutes, not these grunts, and then make sure you finish them off with your mangler. Now, once you take out the initial 2 brutes, you're going to use your grapple to come to the top area where there is always a jackal, and then you're going to basically just sit right here posted. As you saw there, I took out the 2 hard light coils across the room to try to take out any other enemies that are in cover. It's really a smart way to use your environment. Now, as you saw earlier, that brute usually is here. Sometimes it's replaced by another jackal. There's usually either 2 jackals in this room or 1. 1 jackal, 1 brute, or just 1 or 2 jackals. Now, using some of our pulse carbine to take out the elites here. The pulse carbine is really good at stripping elite shields. I would recommend it over the noob combo that we've done in previous games, simply because it has a faster fire rate, and the tracking on the plasma pistol is nerfed into oblivion. So I highly recommend using the pulse carbine because its tracking is just overall better. Now, before you get into this grab lift, I would like to point out that I grabbed some ammo. You're going to make sure that your mangler is full, your pulse carbine is full, because this next area there's going to be quite a few enemies. Now, once we get into this next expanse, you're going to just use your grapple. Make sure that you're not doing any slide jumps or anything like that, because you could slide off and fall into the chasm below. But other than that, just make sure you're using your grapple to save yourself a little bit of time. The physics on it are pretty good, so you can do little like swings around like walls, and it's pretty cool. Now, out into this first like large area where there's a bunch of enemies, there's typically either 2 jackals that you can catch off guard or 1 elite. If you can kill the elite from across, it won't have his shields up, so all you need is 1 headshot. Or you can do the same thing with the 2 jackals. So as you see here, we ended up getting the elite, but we weren't able to see it, which is why I immediately started taking out the grunts. The 1 grunt that you're going to take out before you take out any of the others is the grunt with the disruptor. So make sure you take down that grunt as soon as possible, because the disruptor, if they get a super combine on your shield, it's pretty much an instant death sentence. You just want to make sure that you are very careful about any grunt with a disruptor. Now, as you see here, I'm stripping jackals with the pulse carbine, and then there's going to be 1 elite on each side, as well as the elite major sitting in the center. So there's 2 jackals on both ramps, as you see on the other side here, and then there's going to be 1 elite per side. So whatever side you pick, the 2 jackals and 1 elite will go over to the other side to reinforce the others, but they typically stay towards the middle here. Now, that fight, pretty I would say just using your pulse carbine and your mangler will be good enough for that. But once you come out here to the Silex area, now we're just going to use our grapple shot to come pick up the weapon, and that's pretty much it. As you see here, this is where I practice a lot of the grapple slide jump to carry momentum. My goal was always to try to make sure that I was beating the dialogue, but here's the cutscene.
It's been 6 months. Where have you been?
What happened? Where is Cortana?
The rogue AI known as Cortana is gone. She's been deleted.
How? By you?
Of course not. Did you hit your head or something? Don't you remember? My instructions were to enter this installation, imitate Cortana, and lock her down for retrieval. Yours were to take her back to the Infinity for deletion. So if it wasn't you... Okay then. There's something else. On successful deployment, my deletion routine was supposed to complete. Still here.
Good.
Good. My programming failed. I'm not supposed to be here. You need to delete me.
No.
No. I was created for one purpose, and that purpose is no longer needed. My mission is over.
We have a new one. The Banished are planning to fire this ring. We need to make sure they don't.
First of all, what's a banished? Second, you may have noticed that a significant piece of this installation has been damaged, making that impossible. And third, to fire this ring, they would need an activation index. Cortana had the index. I had parts of it as well.
Something stopped your deletion. We need to find out why.
But this wasn't the mission.
The missions change. They always do.
Are you sure?
Alright guys, welcome back from the cutscene. Part of me didn't want to actually like stop this cutscene because I consider this elevator ride a cutscene. It's a very long elevator ride. It's about a minute 15 seconds. So part of me wanted to keep it in because there's a lot of interesting dialogue that goes on between the weapon and Master Chief with Cortana's dust and echoes. So part of me wanted to keep it like just as a cutscene because I'm not really doing anything. You pretty much everybody's gonna have the exact same experience during this part no matter what. One thing that I did do every single time that I like had to restart the mission because I died because we do no death runs here. We don't die. Dying is bad. So a lot of the times whenever I was just sitting here, my goal was to get the correct angle in which like once you like go through. So I got it wrong, but barely. I almost had it correctly. I almost had it correct, but I messed up. So we're in the last little part of the elevator ride, but I guess during this time, I just want to say thank you guys all for all the support you guys have given over all the walkthrough guides. We're talking Halo Wars, Halo Wars 2, 3, 4, ODST, and Combat Evolved. And there's a lot more coming, and I hope you guys look forward to it. SPV3, Halo 2, Halo 5, and of course, you are already watching these, so let's get to it. Once you get off this elevator, you're going to use your grapple to swing around. As I said earlier, it has really good physics around like doing little banks around corners and stuff like that. Now, once you come out here, there's going to be 3 grunts and 2 jackals. We already killed 2 of the grunts. Now 1 of the jackals. The jackals always sit in the back. The 3 grunts are always up front. So one of the things that you can do with your grapple, by the way, is stun a jackal with it. So you can grapple at a jackal, it'll stun them back, and then you can finish them off with a headshot. Now, there are 2 grunts in this room as well as 2 jackals, and at the very top of the stairs, or at the very top of the ramp in this case, there is a jackal marksman who carries a stalker rifle. You're going to make sure that you pick that up, and then you're going to come through this door. You're going to immediately drop on down. You don't need to take the ramp. There's an easy way to get down, and then you're going to pick up the power seed. Once you pick up the power seed, come on up. Go over to the little repository where you're supposed to put the power seed, and then you're just gonna use your grapple to clear your way over to the next cutscene. See you guys in a sec.
Is it safe?
I think so. Yes. It's safe. This is part of me. I don't know why. I don't know how, but it is me. It was the last part I remember being deleted. Let me just... You are here because you were chosen. Our enemies are getting smarter and more numerous every day. What I am about to show you will help turn the tide of war. I have been working to harness the strategic power of a shipborne AI onto the battlefield. Are you ready?
Yes, Dr. Halsey.
Unlike previous AI models, she will reside between your mind and the suit, directly communicating with your neural interface.
Think of her as a new set of eyes to aid your reactions
And upgrade your reconnaissance.
She's not the driver, but a way to level the playing field.
What do I call her?
Ask her. She named herself. Hello, Master Chief. I'm Cortana.
Together, you become our newfound hope. Together, you become our key to humanity's survival. She will do anything necessary to make sure that your mission is accomplished, even if that means sacrificing herself, or you, to accomplish it.
I touched it, and
Was that real?
it's just data. It's just here. Clusters of recursive code. But this, on the other hand, this is the framework I use to trap Cortana. It contains a copy of the activation index, at least fragments of it. What should we do with it?
Do we need it?
Well, based on what you've told me so far, the bigger question is, do the Banished need it?
Do it.
That was... something. Let's go.
Alright guys, now that the cutscene is over, we're about to get things real in a second. We are going to have a lot of enemies that we're going to be taking down. So you're going to want to make sure that before you move on into the next area that you had picked up the stalker rifle before that cutscene, as well as have a mangler. If you don't have the mangler but you have the stalker rifle, there's one right here. If you already have one, just grapple to get the ammo. Now, as I said, there is a lot of enemies between you and the end of the room. That is why we have the stalker rifle. You're going to use your stalker rifle to take down a lot of the enemies that are going to be bigger threats. For an example, there's going to be grunts with disruptors. You're going to take them down, as well as a bunch of brutes on the other side that you're going to use your stalker rifle for. But to use our mangler, we're going to take out the 3 grunts that rose from that platform, and then you're immediately going to backtrack to make sure that you're in cover. Now, you don't want to take out those 3 grunts to their face. You want to make sure you use your stalker rifle from afar to take them down. There are 2 grunts on each side of the room. They're all on the top platform. There is also jackals that are sitting there waiting for them as well. Or waiting with them as well. So as you see here, there's one of them on the right. There's typically one on each side. Now, as for the grunts, there could be more than one. Of course, they could always just walk up the ramp here. But most of the time, you just want to make sure that you're keeping your eye out. And I'm going to swing around here. Just going to try to take out this jackal here. Luckily, we got the stick on him with the spike grenade, which is awesome. Spike grenades are actually really good, by the way, against grunts and jackals. So make sure you take them, use the spike grenade to your advantage. Now, making sure that we stick away from any grunts because they do like throwing grenades when we don't expect it. Once you take out the 2 brutes sitting in the middle, make sure you grab some ammo for your stalker rifle, get some ammo for your mangler, and then go retrieve the weapon. Now, the next area is actually not that bad as well. The only difficult part of it is that there's a turret on the other side that actually has insane accuracy. Now, 2 grunts will always rise from the very first platform after you retrieve the weapon. But do not waste any time. Just come over here. You're going to hide behind this pillar to take out the whatever enemy is on the turret. It could be a grunt. It could be a brute. It doesn't matter. You're just going to use your stalker rifle from afar to take them down. Now, if you're lucky, you get the 2 brutes that get on the turret first. That way, the enemies that are the highest priority or highest threat level are dead early on. Now, we want to make sure that we are using our stalker rifle. We're using our surroundings well. We want to make sure that we take down as many enemies that are obvious to us as possible before we get up close and personal, because the fewer enemies that we deal with up close, the less chance we have to die by BS causes like grenades that we didn't hear, or grenades that just flow out of nowhere, or for some reason you just get a super combined by a disruptor grunt and you just get really upset like I did doing this mission sometimes. But as you see here, we took out all the enemies. You're going to pick up the plasma cannon, and then you're going to use it to clear out some of the last enemies sitting up here. There's going to be a lot of enemies that come out of the door. Just use your grenades to clear out a good portion of them. Once you clear out a good portion of the enemies with your grenades, use the plasma cannon to finish them off. You could use the stalker rifle, but I wanted to save some ammo. Or you could use the mangler, but again, I wanted to save some ammo because we're going to need all the ammo we possibly can get for the next section. Now, we're going to grapple up. Get on top of this platform. There is a grunt mule that you're going to headshot right there. It's only a grunt mule. Then that's it. You don't want to... It drops a sidekick or an assault rifle. But inside this room is a brute marksman. You're going to use your stock rifle to finish it off. Be very careful. He has a skewer. That is pretty much the only enemy in this room. You're going to come up here to go retrieve the power seed. Put the power seed inside of the repository to activate the lift. And then you're going to go up. There's some pretty cool dialogue by Cortana in this part. I really like it. And specifically the, like, almost like entropy kind of talk she's talking about here. I don't know what she's really, like, referencing, but it's really, really cool. I don't know. The yearning amply fed at last is a dope. That's a metal line. I don't know what's up with it. But coming over here to the Spartan to get the next cutscene.
She was carrying an enhanced shield module. Let's see what I can find out about her. Accessing. This is Spartan Bonita Stone, recon specialist. Her vitals have been offline for nearly a month. Cause of death was an energy blade, but different, stronger. A single strike. She never saw it coming.
Alright guys, with the armor augment, we now have 15% more shields, which is pretty cool. But let's get started into the next room. So, this room, I'm not really that picky with how I prioritize my targets. The only thing that I care about is staying in cover, using my stalker rifle from afar until I'm out of ammo. I want to kill as many enemies as I possibly can with my stalker rifle before I move out, using just my mangler. Because there are 2 jackal marksmen, 1 on each side of the room. And you want to make sure that you're very careful of those marksmen because it's 3 shots to kill you. So, moving to the right, this is my preferred route. You want to use your mangler to try to take it out, but if you can't, remember it's 3 shots to take you down with a stalker rifle. So, just be very careful. There's always enemies that are going to be very, very aggressive in this part. So, just make sure that you're keeping an eye on your motion tracker. There's a lot of environment that you can use. I use the Harlight coils and the fusion coils pretty much at any point in time. Or sorry, the plasma coils if you want to be specific about it. But as you can see here, I'm not like spending a lot of time zoomed in because I want to make sure that I am taking my time looking at my radar and making sure that no enemies are sneaking up on me. I got to this part multiple times and I was zoomed in and grunts would come up the ramp here on my right and just immediately take me down. It was always annoying. And by the way, it was always with a grunt sticking me. If you come over here, all the enemies actually come over to this elevator. So it's a really good advantage that you have because they have to come to you rather than you to them. Because they're already posted, right? You can just, like, if they're already posted, you're on the defensive. Or you're on the offensive. You want to stay on the defensive. So, I picked up a disruptor here to show the disruptor is actually really good at taking down flesh enemies. Which is weird, right? You'd expect it to be really good against shield. No, because it's really good at shocking enemies to stun them. So, I would recommend picking up the disruptor at points in times where you're just dealing with a lot of jackals, a lot of grunts. Make sure that you're using it kind of like that. You saw that jackal get stunned. Just the disruptor is really good. As well, there's a lot of ammo for all this stuff around. So, and by the way, all the ammo crates that you see around the room, they're infinite. So you just can get as much shock rifle ammo, not shock rifle, but disruptor ammo, as much stalker rifle ammo, or whatever you're using. The loadout that you're going to go into the Tremonius fight with is either a disruptor or plasma pistol, or a needler sorry, let me repeat that. You're going to want either a disruptor or a plasma pistol, but you're always going to have a needler on you. Now, the Tremonius fight is notoriously difficult because he 3-shots you, right? He 3-shots you with the Bulldog or the Hydra. Whether you play against him close or play against him from afar, it's always still going to be a difficult fight. So, I'm going to show you guys how I went about it after this cutscene. See you guys in a sec.
This isn't Forerunner. It identifies as banished.
Can you operate it?
In my sleep? Not that I sleep, but... Oh! I don't need to. It's already on its way down.
Incoming.
But What if it's a friend?
It isn't.
Escherum's orders are that you should be brought before him. He did not specify in how many pieces.
Alright, so this is the first boss fight in the game. This is going to be Tremonius, and the very first thing you're going to do is you're going to book it to the bottom floor. Now, also what you're going to try to do as soon as you get to the bottom floor is get to the other side of the room as fast as possible, because we're going to try to pick up this fusion coil here to throw it at either Tremonius or his 2 jackals, preferably his 2 jackals. Now, I missed Tremonius, but I end up seeing that I killed one of the jackals on accident. Didn't even mean to, but that's awesome for us because we only have to take down 1 more jackal. So, the 2 jackals, by the way, are carrying manglers. They're not carrying the plasma pistol or needler that we're used to. So, using the disruptor to try to take down the jackals, unfortunately, I was getting closed in on by Tremonius. And I'm also using the disruptor to prove that the disruptor is not that good against Tremonius, especially on legendary difficulty. The reason why we actually did pick up the disruptor was for the jackals. Now, I'm going to keep using the disruptor until I get a chance to go pick up a plasma pistol. But reality is that what you're going to want to use is the plasma pistol needler to fight Tremonius. After you take down the jackals will go down with the disruptor here. Now, as you see here, whenever we see Tremonius try to charge at us, we're just going to go find a way safely around him to try to take out this jackal. Now, with both jackals down, all you have to deal with is Tremonius himself. We are always going to use our environment to our advantage. So that means if we can get him locked into a spot right next to a fusion coil or hard light coil or anything like that, we're just going to use that to our advantage. Now, I'm waiting for Tremonius. So I'm going to try to get him with the disruptor, trying to get him with a little bit of stickies. Now, the thing that you want to do is you always actually want to go behind Tremonius. You don't want to ever go, like, in front of him. And you don't want to, I guess, like, basically you don't want to come up, like, up close and personal to try to get past him. You want to use your grapple to get above him. So that way he doesn't actually fire at you. Now, I got lucky with one of my sticks, and I was... this is when I realized, like, wow, the disruptor is really, really bad. So I was actually trying a new strategy doing this while fighting Tremonius, because I was like, I've never tried the disruptor against Tremonius before, might as well do it now. So I'm just actually proving to myself and you guys that this, like, using the disruptor is bad. But the needler is always good, so always carry the needler. So, as I said, like, I'm just trying to wait till I get a chance to go pick up a plasma pistol. I'm actually looking for one right now. Here's where I picked up one. So, you're going to try to get as much... You're going to want to get a maxed out plasma pistol, pick up this fusion coil, and then you're going to look for a Tremonius. Accidentally... Well, I actually ended up hitting him, which was pretty nice. But you're going to try to get an overcharged shot with your plasma pistol on Tremonius. So, it takes 3 overcharged shots to strip him of his shields completely. So, I got one, missed my second. Got him on that second one. Now we're waiting for the third charge. And there's that third charge. Once you have all of his shields down, get at him with that needler. Do not stop. You want to make sure that you keep his shields from recharging, so toss grenades as much as you can, including spikes, including whatever you can. As you see here, every super combine takes about 1/6 of his health away. So make sure that you just keep using your needler as much as possible. I was trying to finish him off with the plasma pistol. I was panicking a little bit. I was like, oh no, I'm going to die. And because he gets one more shot. But thankfully, we killed Tremonius, and that is how to do the Tremonius fight. Anyways, we're moving on. Anyway, like, yeah, that's foundations on legendary difficulty with no deaths, by the way. So, before we leave, though, we're going to make sure that we pick up some stuff before we head up to the surface. You're going to make sure that you have a bulldog as well as a pulse carbine. I go over here, pick up the pulse carbine, and then you're going to go over to the kinetic ammo crate to go grab some ammo. And yeah, after that, go over to call the elevator. You don't go over here, you actually go inside the elevator. I realized that because I was still like, oh my god, I just beat Tremonius, and it was really, really fast. So that's why. But that is foundations on legendary difficulty with no deaths. If you guys like the video, please like, subscribe, comment, and share. And I'll see you guys next time for Outpost Tremonius, where we finally get to see Halo.
I've been trying to reach you. You vanished. I thought I was on my... Okay, I got your location. On my way. Be ready.